Hello everyone, hope you're all good. And so welcome back to another overview video. Now in today's video, you're about to see my 2000s Tesco 9-inch desk fan, model DF98. Now, this is an incredibly special 9-inch desk fan to me. It belonged to one of my relatives, and my relative that I got it from, they had it for a really long time. And so I've got a story about this. So my relative that owned the Tesco DF98 here, when my relative, when he first moved into his new flat in 2012, he went to Tesco's and bought this Tesco DF98 brand new. Yeah, so after my relative moved into his new flat, he needed a fan because obviously it was like becoming on summer, so he needed a new fan. And I remember spending the day with my relative, and we both went to one of my local Tesco extra stores, and my local Tesco extra store that we went to, they were doing very good offers. They were doing very good summer offers on the Tesco DF98, because they did a basket, one of those big metal baskets full of brand new in the box of these Tesco DF98 9-inch desk fans. So then my relative, he picked one up out the basket, put it in the trolley, and then we trundled down to the checkout after we got some other bits and bobs, and we bought it, and then that was it. Then I went back with him to his flat, and he unboxed it, assembled it together, tested it, works, and started using it. So my relative that originally owned this Tesco DF98, when he originally owned it, because obviously he doesn't, as you can see, I've got it now, and my relative who originally owned it, he doesn't have it anymore. So when my relative owned my Tesco DF98 9-inch desk fan here, when it still belonged to him, and before he said that I could have it if I wanted it, when he bought it brand new from Tesco's, he mainly used it as his bedroom fan. So sometimes used it in the living room, and sometimes, I remember one specific time he was using it in his kitchen when he was cooking dinner, and it got really hot in there and he had to use it. And yeah, I remember walking into my relative's kitchen, and I remember walking into his kitchen, and what did I do? I turned it off. Then he said he wanted it on, so he turned it on again. So that's what happened, because that was what I was like when I was little. Sometimes I used to go in and turn somebody's, like one of my relatives at least, that's what I used to do when I was little sometimes. I used to go into my relatives' bedrooms, like if they're like bedrooms, living rooms, wherever they were. Like, yeah, so yeah, I was a bit like that back then. Whenever I went into any of their rooms and they were using the fan, I used to go in, turn it off. Like for the bedroom one, let's say for example, if they're having a little nap in their bed, I used to go in, turn it off. It's really funny. I do not do that anymore because I don't really need to or don't really want to. So anyway, so my relative who used to own the Tesco DF98 here, yeah, so he kept it for like a good like 10 years or so. Yeah, let me think in my mind. No, I think that was only no, I've just had a thought. I think that was only 12 years. No, it was 12 years that my relative who originally owned this had it for. So my relative who originally owned the DF98, no, they had it for they had it for like 12 years because they bought it brand new from Tesco's in 2012, and I only got the DF98 here earlier this year. So they only definitely had it for 12 years. Because he moved into his flat in 2012, and he bought the fan in 2012. Yes, that was only 12 years. It was only 12 years this year that he had it for. Yeah, so it's now been passed on to me. So yeah, so this was the most cheapest 9-inch desk fan you could buy from Tesco's. Now Tesco's used to do very good deals on these. They were like, yeah, around £12. Now when the DF98 here was available at Tesco's, the DF96 was available around the same time. The DF96, Tesco's old DF96 9-inch desk fan. This, the DF98, their PF167 16-inch pedestal fan, their TF37 tower fan, and their TF11 tower fan, and finally, their that's all I can remember really, and finally, their DF128, 12-inch desk fan. It was the very only 12. It was the very only older 12-inch desk fan they used to, as far as I remember. And yeah, so it was in March this year. It was in March. It was in March this year that my relative was having a clear out in his flat. There was some stuff he was keeping, some stuff he was getting rid of. And so his old Tesco DF98 9-inch desk fan here was one of the things he was getting rid of. So he passed it on to me. So this was the most cheapest 9-inch desk fan you could buy from Tesco's. Yes, it was around 12, well over £11-ish. And these always used to be supplied in nice blue boxes. I still remember a little while ago I was on Facebook Marketplace and I found a new in the box one of these, and I remember because these always if you bought one of these brand new from Tesco's, Tesco would always sell them in the blue boxes. Yeah, so Tesco's I just remembered I wanted to say that Tesco didn't make this. They bought it from a Chinese company and put their branding on it. I think that's sort of how the boxes turned out to be blue. Obviously, one good example of them put the branding on the boxes. So every time, whenever you bought the DF98 here back then from Tesco, Tesco always used to sell them in the blue boxes. So they used to be like dark blue boxes, very nice actually. And I still remember when my relative got his old DF98 9-inch desk fan here from Tesco, his one right here came in the blue box as well. Because I still remember him just picking it out the heavy duty basket that these were all piled up in. They're all piled up quite neatly, and just put it in the trolley. After we got some more stuff out of Tesco, we just trundled down to the checkout, paid for it, then it was mine. Sorry, it wasn't mine. It was my my relative who bought it for his flat. It was his to start with, but it's now mine. So he was having a clear out, and he actually asked me, do I want one? Do I want sorry. Do I want one of these? Yeah, of course. Tesco still make them. No, of course they don't. Yeah, I'm being really funny here, aren't I? Yeah, so my relative was having a clear out in his flat, and as I said a few minutes ago in the video, he was getting rid of some stuff and half keeping, and his Tesco DF98 9-inch desk fan here was one of his old stuff he was getting rid of. So he asked me, do I want to have it? And then I said to him, yes please, I will have it. And I had sort of been eyeing up to get this anyway, because as it's quite a special fan in my collection. And so yeah, so it'd been sat at my relative's flat for a good 12 years, and he used to use it in his bedroom, sometimes in his living room, sometimes in his kitchen. Sometimes I used it whenever I went to see him. And so yeah, and also these were very priced. These went, I think, I remember these went for so much cheaper on club card points at Tesco's. So these were priced at £12, 12 or well over £11. And I think, as these were around £12, as far as I remember, I think you could buy one of these for £10 at Tesco's. Because if they were £12, Tesco's have got, it's still like that now, Tesco's have got a slightly cheaper, it's got like a 2-notch down cheaper offer. So these used to be £10 as well for club card. If you got a Tesco club card, these would have been £10. But basically, it's just because I think my relative just like paid for it the price it was, its ordinary price, which was £12. I mean, if I bought one of these back then, I probably would have bought it for £12 or £10 at least. £10 if I had a club card back then, but I didn't. No, I didn't have a club card back then. Yeah. And so yeah. So we'll just have a little look on the fan. Yes, it's just pretty much budget. I did recommend one of these back then when Tesco's still made them. Yeah, just a pretty much standard one really. They're pretty good fans. I've got a recent video that has come out of this, and when I was staying here at my grandma's house the other night, and because obviously I sometimes have a sleepover here, I sometimes use the other night I used the DF98 here as my nighttime or overnight fan, I call it. And yeah, I've had it on overnight at because I've stayed at my relative's flat before, and I used it when he said I could, when he was just going back to using it as a spare fan, because he bought some nice new ones. And so yeah, so anyway, I think that's all I wanted to say. It's quite a special 9-inch desk fan to me, and Tesco's used to do absolutely brilliant deals on these. And so yeah, so let's see it in action. Why not? Let's give it a go.